Welcome back. This is Jack, and this is another episode of The Geek's Perspective. Now, I have an idea. I'm going to call it a dream for the proper way to do a DC movie verse. And it would require almost a complete reboot of everything they've done before, which is a shame because I really do like Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and I forget the actress's name, but I love who's doing Wonder Woman. She's done a legitimately great job. Gadot? I don't know. I can't say her name, and I can't remember it, and I do apologize for that. To me, you have to start inevitably the series on Batman. And there's a reason for that. Here's my reason for that, and I'll explain how to do his movie. Ultimately, one Batman is one of the most popular of all the DC verse, and you can use him as a branching point of the first time in their universe that heroes became known in society, that they became known that they are functioning and doing things. So Batman would be a good example of where to start. He's the one who kind of inspires all these other heroes to become publicly known, to not be as secretive about their little vigilante behavior, where they stop being just heroes but becoming superheroes. With Megamind's definition being, and this is my favorite one, the difference between a villain and a supervillain is presentation. The fact that Batman is becoming a symbol, not just a person doing a thing. So where it should start from the very beginning for me is most of the movie should not have Batman in it. It should be Ninja Bruce Wayne, as I call it. It is Bruce Wayne trying to figure out. He's doing the hero part first. He hasn't become a superhero. He's just being a hero, where he's running around testing out these different gadgets and trying his best to defeat what's known as the Red Hood Gang, which has a precedence in the New 52 universe and the original universe in DC Comics. So he's trying to deal with them. Now, you can already have pre-existing villains make an appearance and existing within the universe, like Penguin, for instance. In fact, one of the opening scenes I'd like to do is have Bruce Wayne, Ninja Bruce Wayne, posing as Penguin, and Red Hood is pretending to buy weapons from him. Or he's going to, but he knows it's actually Bruce Wayne. He doesn't know it's Bruce Wayne. He just knows it's this ninja vigilante who's been messing with him this whole time. And in the middle of him discussing payment and all that stuff, he goes, "I gotta hand it to you. I gotta applaud yourself, because I know you're like 6 foot something and you're pretending to be the Penguin who's like 4 something. That's impressive." And a fight ensues, and inevitably Batman has to escape, or Bruce Wayne has to escape, jumps out of the airplane, because for some reason I imagine them in an airplane, because that's how the comic did it. And that's the first time you see him using what becomes his cape later on. And as the movie goes on, you kind of see this. Now, Bruce Wayne has no interest in being Bruce Wayne. He doesn't want to be anything else. He wants to be this guy running around being crazy. Alfred tries to talk him into going back. His uncle on his mom's side, whose name I forget at this exact second. Because, by the way, Batman is the heir of 2 major families. The one who owns Case Chemicals and the Wayne Industry family, which are the 2 richest families in all of Gotham. They owned Gotham, and so therefore Bruce Wayne owns Gotham now, because he inherited it from both. And they're both trying to get him to take over his company, just forget all this. And he says no, and he's just very rude about it. Eventually he breaks down when he realizes he can't do anything. Like, he's making no progress, and this Red Hood gang is just running roughshod over him like it's nothing. So what does he do? He does exactly what his uncle wanted him to do. He steps up and becomes Bruce Wayne. You'll have there's a scene I'm lifting directly from the New 52 comics. I thought it was brilliantly done. You have a video feed coming from outside Ace Chemicals into the front for reporters to talk to, and he's going to reveal the secret identity of the Red Hood leader, Red Hood number 1. It looks kind of like that. And while he's doing this press briefing, he gets attacked by Red Hood, only to be saved by Batman. This does 2 things. One, you can explain how it's done, is by a time delay. There's actually, there was a pre-recording, and Batman comes in to save him. But 2, it makes it why no one ever thinks Bruce Wayne is Batman, because the first time Batman is ever seen on camera is saving Bruce Wayne. So it's impossible that the 2 are the same people. The only people who know the difference is people involved in the filming and Red Hood gang, which you can't stand up for. Why were you in there? I was a part of this gang that was trying to kill Batman. So anyway, as the fight goes on, he's taking out all these other extra members. And he finally gets into the final fist fight between him and Red Hood number 1, who's the leader, who he's been dealing with this whole time. I'd have him using a crowbar as he's fighting Batman, because it's just iconic for who he becomes. And ultimately the end result is he has the leg up because Batman is still new to doing this kind of stuff. And the only reason he gets saved is because one of the Red Hood members shoots Red Hood number one before himself getting shot. The helmet coming off revealing that it was his uncle the whole time. His uncle was one of the members the whole time. But anyway, that's not important because ultimately Red Hood number one has to fall into that vat of chemicals. So you're building the foundation, the creation of the Joker, which New 52 did, which was beautifully done, and I'd like to see that replicated. And then you can end it with your dead ending is Bruce Wayne ascending to being the owner of Wayne Industries and taking over his position, and then you can cut to him being Batman at night. And that just builds into this DC multiverse. Now, how other heroes take onto that is you build into their origin movies. What did Batman becoming Batman do to them? Green Arrow, it gave him the way to be Green Arrow, because Green Arrow originally operated very similar to Batman. You can have a lot of other heroes looking at it like, okay, I see what he's doing, I don't like it, which will be taken on the Superman movie, which I'll get into later. But there's just so much potential with this. I'd like to, and then the next movie takes place 5-10 years later, so you have a nice time gap where you can always do other movies that take place in between, and you don't have to do any introduction of Robin or Batgirl. They're already there. You don't have to touch on it. Everybody knows the stories. And then if you do a third one a couple years later, it introduces them as Nightwing, another Robin, and Oracle possibly, and then maybe another Batgirl. However you want to do that one. Because I like the idea of the second movie being Batman at this point is now after Black Mask. And Black Mask calls in a mercenary to stop Batman. Who? But Bane. So you have a good Bane showdown. Him as a mercenary, not as some idealistic fighter. Which, by the way, I did like his performance. And I would include the Venom. You have to include Venom for this. You can make whatever reason you need for it to exist, but he has Venom. And ultimately, the end conclusion is, I want to get to this one scene where it looks like Bane is about to break Batman's back again. He's got him up in the air and he's about to break his back. And Batman reaches in the back and unplugs the chemical. He says, I was just waiting for you to get close enough to those cables. Because I don't know why he didn't do that, but he was kind of worn out at the time, wasn't thinking straight. And then he goes on to take out Black Mask. And then the third one, I like the idea of the third movie being the Joker has decided to end the game. He's bored of the game now and he wants to end it. And he starts revealing, like, he's known that Batman's been Bruce Wayne this whole time. He was the Red Hood. He saw what happened. He also knows that Barbara Gordon had been Batgirl, now Oracle. And he does all of these very evil things, and even doing what the last laugh, or what, I can't remember the name of the comic exactly, does, where he mixes Joker with Venom, creating Joker Venom, which is also done in the video games too. Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight, and all that has talked about it. And it just, the rogue gallery of Batman being worse. I wouldn't be able to include the JLA with that because I think that'd be just too much to include. And then you have to include the Fenrir armor. Just too much stuff. Fenrir armor is made by the Justice League and is meant to take on Darkseid. Long story. But anyway, and you could argue it's a precursor to the Batman Beyond outfit, but that's also another thing. But this is kind of what I want, because this is the original Red Hood that was introduced originally. Now Red Hood is being called, Jason Todd's going by that, but that's longer. And I want to see this DC movie verse done this way, where you start with these characters. Now, mind you, there's been heroes before them, but they worked on the down low. They didn't want to be known to exist because they were afraid of the legal ramifications. They were afraid of a lot of things. Batman would be the first one who came out and said, no, I'm creating this person. I am creating this ideal, this image. And then the Superman one says, whereas Batman is creating this image of fear for villains, Superman is going to be the one who creates the image of hope. And I'm going to explain how to work that out in that video. This one I just wanted to get the Batman out one first because that one has to be the first one. And then you have a year later, Superman becomes active. But I'll get into that later. Anyway, this has been Jack with the Geek's Perspective. I would appreciate if you like, subscribe, and share. And especially if you like my ideas enough that you hope that some DC executive does it. Or Disney does, I don't know. Maybe we can get this made. I don't know. It's a hope. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.